Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight's topic, crossing over does not guarantee you a prize. Crossing over does not guarantee you a prize. Let me go ahead and interpret what I just said. Grass is never greener on the other side. And what I mean by grass is never greener on the other side, there's some folks out there that believe interracial dating is going to give you an upper hand and happiness. You have to understand, all you men and women out there, that we live in a day and age where no matter what race you are, we have a number of individuals living in this world who are very tainted by past relationships. So, within the black race, you have a number of brothers who have gotten hurt by black women. So what they have decided to do was cross over to Caucasian women. And then you've had a number of black women who have gotten hurt by black men, and they have decided to cross over to go out with white men. You look at Serena Williams, okay? A number of sisters don't want to date a man making much less money than she's making. But if you turn around, Serena Williams has become a hypocrite. She has a net worth of $150 million. And the gentleman who is the CEO and founder of Reddit, and if you all aren't familiar with Reddit, Reddit is a social media site. I've commented on that site several times when I talked about civil engineering. Well, he was the founder of that. His net worth is $6 million. You had Eve. She was a black woman from the ghetto of Philadelphia. Had good success in the early 2000s. She is now with a billionaire, a white man. And I've seen brothers that have gone out with some hideous white women. Now, I am not criticizing anybody of any race. But in our black community, we think that grass is going to be greener on the other side. You forget, brothers and sisters, that the reason why we are in the parallel or the dysfunction that we're in today, it's because of white supremacy and white feminism. A number of sisters hopped on board in the late 60s and 70s because they wanted welfare and the same type of governmental goodies that white women had. Because prior to that, black women and black men, we were hitched at the hip as a family. In fact, during the Jim Crow era, black people did much better than they are now. We had families intact. The black man was always the leader and the head of the house, and he was respected. Yes, black women did work. They went to work for white folks as maids. They also brought in money as well. But you didn't have the attitudes with black women that you have today. Now, why do African Americans believe that crossing over to a different race is going to make everything better? And you have some white women who do the same thing. They get tired of the white men and they cross over to black men. Why? Well, for the most part with African American men, it's basically, particularly with the younger Caucasian women, they are looking at the black men for their physique because black men are genetically superior to white men physically. Black men are genetically superior to white men intellectually. This is why black men, the biggest black man, got the harshest torture back in slavery days. Now, crossing over, and particularly for the African Americans, you have to be very, very careful. If you don't think in your right mind that you have some mental ill white folk out here, you are definitely crazy. You need a mental institution. I was just watching a video today, and I'm going to find that video. It's by, shout out to brother E.T. Williams, the doctor of common sense. And it had a Caucasian lady in there who voted for Hillary Clinton. And she was ranting about what Hillary would have done if she had become president. Now, as a African American man, I don't care what race that woman is, I would not date that woman. She's dysfunctional and emotionally tainted and definitely needs a mental institution. So when we think of crossing over into the barriers of another race, thinking that everything is going to be better, as black people, for the most part, we're delusional. Why? Because as black men and women, with the exception of Eve, Dorothy Dandridge, Serena Williams, we don't get cream of the crop white folk. We don't. However, we believe in our head that this Caucasian woman or the Caucasian man is treating us much better. And in essence, that is the truth. They are treating us much better. But why? They're treating us much better because they've already divided us. White folk want us to be dependent on them. The reason why is because we have become a threat. You think about all of the cultures who have gotten symbols, writing, and I'm talking about the Greeks and the Romans. All their symbols and their writings came from Egyptians. Egyptians were the ones who invented mathematics, hieroglyphics, writing. They invented the Stonehenge, which told the time. That sort of tangible items that we use today. But going back to dating. Interracial dating is a good thing if you're willing to take the fire. Now, of course, I had a show last night on Blog Talk Radio called Crossing Over. And I just want to tell everybody who's African American, we all get hurt. But do we think that crossing over to the other side of the fence is going to make it better? No, it's not going to make it better. If you're going to date somebody, I don't care if they're in your race or out of your race, you have to make sure that that person is the right person for you, regardless. A number of us African Americans date outside of our race because we believe that the black men and women we've dated hurt us so bad that we can't trust black men and women. But I want to caution you on this, African Americans. Just because somebody has hurt you, you get over that hurt, it's very difficult for some people. But you can't blame a whole race of people because of a couple bad apples. This is what people like Crystalline Garrison did, and some of those wig talk young ladies. If you're going to date somebody outside your race, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. But you have to understand this. No matter what the circumstances are, you're still black. I myself will not knock a black woman because she hurt me. I won't knock a white woman because she hurt me. But as far as being an African American male, I already know it's tough out here dating. But you have to bear some responsibility yourself of why you got hurt. If I'm going to go and date somebody outside of my race, I want to make sure I'm functional. And one of the reasons why some of these black men and white women relationships don't work, and this is the real reason, and a lot of African American men don't want to talk about it. Well, if you're dating a Caucasian woman and she comes from a functional family with a mother and father, and you come from a dysfunctional family raised by a single mother, one of the reasons why that relationship isn't going to work is because you're going to take the same irresponsible duties, particularly if you get the Caucasian woman pregnant and have a child with the Caucasian woman. You're going to get up and leave her just like you do the black woman. So guess what? That Caucasian woman that you have, and now she's upset because you left her, she's going to become that same black woman with the attitude. And she's going to also be in her mind, having her mind that black men aren't any good either. So, as African Americans, we have to think about who we are and what our worth is. I don't want to date anybody that's going to want me as a fascination. And what do I mean by fascination? Black men have been stereotyped as having big penises, mandingo penises. And this is why some white women want some black men, particularly the younger white women. Now, some of these white women want black men because, in retrospect, they really don't want a black man, because some of them are racist as well. But they can't get a white man because the white men basically trade up. So what happens? We as African American men, we get the leftovers. And not all white women are leftovers, but we get the ones who were scorned. Same with black women. And I live here in Portage, Indiana, and I've seen the interracial dating, and I see a number of black women and white men, and they too get the bottom of the barrel, white men, but they are running around hand in hand with this Caucasian man, thinking that she's got a prize. She's only with him because he's white. That is the wrong reason to be dating somebody outside your race. So if you're going to date outside your race and cross over, you must understand that you're going to run into the same problems, if not more, because you have to worry about the friends and family who aren't comfortable with it. You have to worry about the media and society. They really down interracial marriages, particularly if they're with white women, black men. You're going to get more of a pass if you're a black woman, white man, and this is generally why black women, white men relationships last a whole lot longer than white women, black men, because you have less interference. It's more acceptable. If you look at the media and the commercials and television, they're promoting more black women, white men. And if you look at time, you had a number of white men who married black women. But the other way around, starting from slavery, black men and white women were hanged. And if there was a baby conceived by that white woman from a black man, the umbilical cord was cut and the baby was killed. You look at Emmett Till, 14-year-old boy, was mutilated just for whistling at a Caucasian woman back in 1955. So, African Americans, if you think it's going to be better for you to cross over, think twice. And that also goes for the other side. If Caucasian people are thinking of crossing over, you need to think twice as well. Because in today's society, you have a lot of dysfunctional people. And the older I get, the wiser I get. And when it comes to dating anybody, you must understand one of the first questions that you ask any person is, what kind of environment did you grow up in? Did you have a mother and a father? And I'm not saying everybody who comes from a single parent household is bad. But I am going to think about it a little bit before I go out with this woman. Or women should think about that before she goes out with that man, particularly in the black community. Because when you only see one side of the coin, women operating, you're going to believe that women are going to be the leaders of a family because that's all you have known. And a number of women who are the mothers, and that's both white, black, Hispanic, all across the board. And just because you don't hear it in the black sector of YouTube, single mothers are single mothers. White women have babies out of wedlock just as much as black women. In fact, because of raw data, there are more white women, so the number is higher, but the per capita percentage is higher amongst black women because of the ghettos, the welfare, even though you have more white women on welfare. Back to the topic, though. If you're going to cross over, and that's everybody, you must understand the constraints of crossing over. But at the end of the day, doesn't mean you have that prize because you're with a black man, you're with a white woman, you're with a white man, black woman, or Hispanic woman. You must date a person based on who they are, not what you think they are, and not thinking about a relationship known as a rebound relationship after you just got out of one relationship because you need help. A lot of us are trying to get on a rebound to try to smooth everything out, but you can't open one door without closing another door. Relationships are made for people who want to be involved with one another. Now, there are different types of relationships. Some may want just a FWB, a friends with benefit type of relationship. Some may want a loving relationship. What I'm trying to advocate in this video is I'm all the way for interracial marriage. But I don't care who you date in today's country. You have to be aware that the child support laws, the marriage laws, the divorce laws, they're against men of all races here in America. So if you're going to be involved with any woman, you can go from a black woman to a white woman. They go or from a black man to a white man. You know what you're going to get? You're still going to get the same result. Because the people that you're trying to reach out to are from America. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. But you must get out of the areas, particularly the city, and go more toward the country where there's not much going on because people in the country still maintain traditional values, particularly in the Midwest, with the exception of your urban cities like Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland. And then you go down south, with the exception of the three large cities in Texas. In other words, you got to get somebody from a small town or country. Yes, they might be a plain Jane man or woman, but if they have a good value system, then you'll be able to go on with a successful relationship. Now, that's only if they maintain the traditional values. And the reason why I say crossing over, particularly for African Americans, can be detrimental is because most African Americans want to cross over because they believe what the media has told them about one another, that black women are ratchet, black men are ratchet. And we have been indoctrinated with that white supremacist type of mindset from slavery, and it's gotten even worse now. So when it comes to meeting any type of people, you must have a stable mindset. So you can cross over all you want if you're black, white, Hispanic, Chicano, but if your backgrounds aren't similar, it's not going to work either. That's why crossing over into different races does not guarantee you have a prize. And that's it for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Thursday, January 26th, 2017. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest calling number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in any debates, controversial, or social issues, although the issues I've been doing of late may seem a little controversial, but they're not if you have your head on the thinking mode without emotion, because I'm trying to teach each and everybody in my audience something. So on this channel, I do not involve myself in any drama or unnecessary bickering, because again, I'm educating people so you can understand how the real world works, and it'll help you make good decisions. So on this channel, I keep everything realistic and positive because knowledge is power. And if you have a video, a topic, or even a new channel, and even a business that you would like for me to talk about on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, be sure to email me at lej6521@gmail.com. That's lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave it in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering, if you wish to opine. That's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.